the day has come that I have a GoPro 9. I'm really excited to be able to shoot this first video today, but at the same time, I also feel extremely strange for at least two reasons. One of the reasons is I have a camera attached to my head, and the second reason is that I feel like a minor. And I'm not talking about a minor like under 18 years old. I'm talking about a minor for someone who mines minerals underground. So I have this head strap on my head, and it makes me look a little crazy. The hair sticks out in all different directions. So what I did, I actually found a video of someone on YouTube that was making running videos with the GoPro, and I figured out that if you wear a hat, it sort of keeps all that stuff under control. So for that, I'm grateful. Don't have to look as crazy as I was when I was testing this thing out in the bathroom, but it's certainly something I'm gonna have to get used to, but I think it's for the better. So I was doing some testing beforehand. I noticed that, and maybe this is just because of the preview on the phone, which it might be, but there is a difference in audio. I might be able to change some of this in post-production, but I did notice there are, I don't want to say audio degradation from what the iPhone was capturing, but there certainly is a difference. I'll definitely be looking into that now that I have the GoPro. I'll be messing around with all the different settings, figuring out what works best for me, so on and so forth. So today, like I mentioned, we have our first GoPro video, which is real exciting to be able to capture all these things through these lenses, because these lenses are real wide, and you can actually even go wider. And you can even do slow-mo shots. Of course, one of the first things I did was take videos of my dog, because I think that's what every person does when they want to test something out. They test it with their dogs. Dogs think everything is a toy, and surely my dog thought that the handle that came with the GoPro was a toy. Luckily, he didn't do anything to it, but at least now I know I can't mess with him too much when I have the handle in my hand. I opted to not use the floating handle this time around. I may or may not do it. I think the head strap gives you all a little bit of a better point of view to what I'm seeing. I was very surprised with the stabilization of the camera. I like how sturdy it feels. It definitely feels like a quality product, not just like any camera that you can buy. Well, you can buy all sorts of cameras really anywhere, but it doesn't feel cheap. I guess that's what I mean to say. So one of the cool things so far is now my hands are free. I don't have to hold the iPhone anymore. I don't really have to hold anything. So now if I want to present anything to you all, I can just, my hands are completely free. I can use them to do whatever I want, which is really nice. And that'll definitely come in handy in later videos, especially when we start doing some jogging, when we start doing some running. I'm also very curious about the wind. For example, right now, and again, sort of this running joke if y'all can hear me, there is wind. But I've read that the stock mic does a decent job of filtering out some of that wind. So very interested to see how that all comes out. I'm pretty surprised at the field of pickup that the mic has. I feel like I'm really far from it, and I feel like I have to talk really loud, but surprisingly, it picks up the audio very well. So let's get to the meat and potatoes. This is day 3 of week 2 of Walk With Me on this warm-up series of Task With Me. Today we're going to be doing a 28-minute walk, and then tomorrow is going to be a break. Probably a lot of you who have been following me have noticed that my live streaming on Reddit has gone down, and the reason being, I decided this week to honor more of the rest periods, really take those days to recharge, do other things like focus on strength training. Work sometimes gets busy, so it's nice to use that time to be able to do things at work. Just really depends how the day is going. It is the end of the year, things are getting a little bit lighter, but in preparation for the new year, I want to make sure everything is checked out before I go on my own PTO starting next week. So 28 minutes today. It's up from the 25 minutes that we were doing last week. Nice thing is that this time I'm joined, well, I'm not joined by anyone physically, but during this time of the day, for reference, it's 2:45. There's a lot of people that walk around, so it's kind of cool to see other faces, and I think it will actually help me get over my anxiety of looking weird. Sometimes you just gotta feel uncomfortable. Once you get over the initial hump, you get used to it. But I can't imagine that for people looking at me walking around with a GoPro on my head, they might think that I'm filming something or that I'm a little bit suspicious. So as long as they're here what I'm talking about, then it will all be fine. Yeah, definitely something to get used to. Very excited to be able to film in it anyway. So like I said, we're gonna end this week with a 38-minute walk. It's gonna be the longest walk that we have done, but if you have all followed with me, you should all be able to do it by now, depending on if you've been with me from day one or not. But I'm really excited to see how you've all progressed. I've been getting some more people voting on Twitter, which is really cool. It's nice to see that level of engagement there. So excited to see how things progress as we move forward here. We have a truck coming along. Again, one of those things that I would like to test for audio, trucks, wind, etc. I want to talk a little bit about my week. I'm sorry if the audio is picking up this truck sound. Might just stop for a second while we pass this truck here. I want to talk to you all a little bit about my week. I have officially started a position as a web development tutor at a company called Practicum by Yandex. I have the privilege of teaching a very great group of students, and if any of you are hearing this, shout out to cohort 11, the tomatoes. It's been really fun teaching them. I think one of the cool things, and something that people that have been in the industry for longer periods of time tend to forget, is that you can learn across the stack. There are things that juniors can pick up that you may become blindsided by just focusing your attention on one part of something. So already I have learned from some of my students. I hope they have also learned from me. I try to be as resourceful as I can. I try to let them be as autonomous as they can. It's something that I've learned from my own experience. Autonomy is normally something that people like. And of course, if they need my help, I am there as much as I can be there. But that's been really fun doing that. This is the first week of 10 months. So it is a long road ahead, and it is the first time in a long time that I have 2 jobs. The only other time in my life that I had 2 jobs was when I was working at Old Navy and GameStop. Super random, completely unrelated to web development, but I had 2 jobs at those 2 places when I was a teenager, just trying to make a buck, because we've all been there. So that's something cool that's happened. Of course, something else has happened, as I've already mentioned. The GoPro, have some videos of my girlfriend and I already on my camera. Thinking about maybe making a separate sort of life/vlog video series unrelated to this channel. I'll link it. Don't want to commit to anything just yet, but at the same time, I think some of those videos can be cool. It'll give me a little more freedom to experiment with the GoPro. But for this channel, I want to stick to the topic at hand, which is just doing all these different tasks. Let's switch topics here a little bit. I want to talk about my girlfriend for a second. My girlfriend Paola. Paola has been working a lot to try and get a job as a web developer. And she has come very far in her studies, in her research, and everything that she's done related to it. She has come very far. It's been very cool to see her grow from the day that I met her into where she is today. She's getting to the point now where she's learning about data structures and algorithms. For any of you developers out there, you all know it can be a little bit intimidating the first time you see these new concepts, but that's just what they are. They are concepts. Something I try to tell her, and for anyone else that's listening, is don't worry so much about the syntax. Don't worry so much about how it looks in a specific language. Just understand the concept, because then transferring it to a new language is simple and it will make you a better engineer. I think a lot of times when we're starting out, we get scared when syntax changes or we move to another language and it's not exactly the same as it was written in a previous one. But as you start getting better and better, the questions that you start asking change. For example, if you need to create a specific data structure, you might just ask yourself, well, how do I do XYZ in this language? And you can just look up how to do it, and then you can start building out whatever it is you need to build out. It's not so much of how do I write the syntax, it's just more of how can I accomplish this specific thing. Small building blocks get you to that final result. So that's been very cool. It's been very cool to see her go through that struggle. And I say struggle because it is a struggle, and I believe everyone needs to go through that for whatever new skill they're learning. And again, I learned from her as well. Don't forget that you can learn from anyone or anything, any resource. That's actually something I heard from, I forget his name now, unfortunately, but he shows up on Joe Rogan a lot. I think he was like a former Navy veteran, Army veteran. Oh, Jocko Willink. Jocko Willink has a fantastic podcast, and he talks about how you have to be okay with sort of getting leadership from any part of the command hierarchy. Something along those lines, where don't feel, yes, you are the leader, but you can't have so much of an ego as to not pay attention to anyone that's below or above you. At the end of the day, everyone's goal is the same, and especially like that in a life-threatening situation, if someone comes up with a good idea and it sounds reasonable and sensible, then by all means go for it. Don't deny it just because you're the leader and someone below or above you came up with it. Kind of the same with my experience as a software developer, and maybe you all will feel the same. Curious to see what you all think. So we're coming up on 11 minutes right now, actually closer to 12. One of the things that's a little bit anxiety inducing is the fact that I don't get live previews on the GoPro. I'm recording this based on faith that it is working. And now I'm starting to understand what YouTubers mean when they have to record clips again. Can you imagine recording something for, it doesn't really matter the amount of time. I mean, if it was a minute, I guess it's okay, but imagine recording something like this for 28 minutes only to find out none of it got recorded, or it looks bad, or the audio got cut off, or some other unexpected event happened that you were not aware of. That's sort of how I feel right now. I'm going based on faith completely, but based on the tests I did beforehand, everything looked good. So I'm going to trust the GoPro, I'm going to trust the system, and hopefully it will work out and we'll all be able to get a nice video for today's walk. That's something new I will have to get used to. Talking a little about earlier how I said I wanted to do different sort of channels, I'm also really excited to be able to go to, I don't know, different trips or things of that nature. Especially with my girlfriend. We went whitewater rafting a while ago, and how unfortunate that I have a recollection of it, but I have no proof. And the only thing they sold you is a 2-second picture you got at a very specific point of the trip, and if you don't look good, well, that's just too bad. Or if you don't look cool, that's too bad. So I would love to go back and do something like that, especially that I feel like that's what the GoPro is meant for, and have some fun with it. If I can shoot my whole whitewater rafting adventure, that would be phenomenal, especially that it was my first time and I was so scared. Funny story, I was more scared with my girlfriend. I mean, it was level 3 and I was terrified. The zip lining I was really cool with, but the whitewater rafting, we actually fell off our boat. That was terrifying. So I can't imagine the people that are doing this for real getting up to those level 5s. I think level 6 is just pure insanity from what I remember them telling us. Level 5s are for very experienced whitewater rafters, I suppose. But yeah, those 6s I've heard are intense. Would have been so much fun. So hopefully again in the future we'll be able to do something similar to that. Really take advantage of the GoPro. We'll see where we are. So guys, New Year's is coming up, and it's a little bit strange. Last year during New Year's, we were having a blast. It was a little bit different. Oh, it was very much different because no COVID, but I took PTO a week earlier. So last year at this time, tomorrow would have been my last day. Now I have another week. I figured that doing PTO during this time is not really worth it, as we're all working from home anyway. Might as well start the next year with a couple more and hopefully get a chance to use them when things sort of normalized. But we're not traveling anywhere this year. We're pretty much staying home. We're gonna go to, you know, our family's homes for the holidays. We do the 24th at my girlfriend's, 25th at mine, and things are gonna be pretty normal, which is not bad, but it's just gonna be a very, what's the word I'm looking for, just a very plain, a good old-fashioned winter break. Nothing crazy, but I'm excited because those savings and that time, hopefully next year we'll go out with a banger and make up for lost time this year. But yeah, I want to stop here and do a little bit of a shameless plug. First of all, I want to thank anyone that's been with me since day one. Already since day one, we've seen a couple of things happen in this channel. We've gotten our first major upgrade quality wise with the new GoPro, hoping that really pans out for the better. I really think it will be. I'm glad I made that investment. If you've stuck with me since day one, remember last week we got to 1 hour and 40 minutes. This week, let's see, so 28 and 28 is 56, plus another 15. It's gonna be what, 1 hour and 12 minutes? No, I don't think so. 4, 11, 1 hour and 11 minutes. So if you walk with me again, it's 1 hour and 11 minutes. So plus the 14, 2 hours and 51 minutes if you've walked with me since day one. So pat yourselves on the back. That's an accomplishment. For a lot of us, we've never ever done this much, including myself. Matter of fact, the most walking I ever do is when I go to Disney World. So I'm very excited to have done this much time in walking, and I hope you all feel the same way too. Again, this channel is called Task With Me. What is Task With Me for? Task With Me is a channel I created to do tasks with the broader community in hopes that people joining me can break up the rut of their normal day. And I say that because a lot of us, especially during these work from home times, are hunched over our desks, don't really have a lot going on. Seemed fun in the beginning, but now you're just getting out of bed, sitting on your desk with your PJs, and maybe you just feel like you need something new. So that's what I want to start off with. I said, let me challenge myself, let me do this 5K. I'm gonna start with walking, because I know I'm not that good of a walker. Sounds crazy to think that you can't be good at walking, but just my cardio and my knees never really get to me. So, things to look forward to in the future. We're gonna be starting off with walking. Then we're gonna be getting into some jogging, and hopefully we're gonna be finishing off with running. If by the time I do my running, I have 1,000 subscribers, I'm at 15 right now. If I have 1,000 subscribers, by the time that I go live on YouTube, I will be able to do that run live, which would be phenomenal. If I can do my graduation run live with, I don't know, even if just one person's watching, I would love that. And I say one person because if just one person stuck with me, if I was able to change just one person's life, that would be enough for me. But of course, the more the merrier, as they say. So that's what Task With Me is for. If you're interested in doing that, if you're interested in doing walks and jogs and running and technology related things and cooking and, I don't know, hiking, rock climbing, a ton of cool tasks. I don't know, for example, 1 week at the rock climbing gym, let's do something together. Let's get good at something together. And like I mentioned, I believe in my first video this week, or maybe the one on Tuesday, frankly, I don't really remember anymore. I want to shout out to Hunty Maniac on Reddit, who suggested that I do brainstorming sessions with the community. I would love to know what you all think. Do you want, like, what sort of tasks do you all want to do? And if I pick one of your tasks, I'll give you all a shout out, whether it be on your Reddit profile or Facebook. Maybe you have your own channel. I'll go ahead and promote it for you. That's what we're all about here, getting the community together and doing cool things together. And who knows, we'll figure it out as we go along, but for now I'm having a good time, and I hope you are all as well. All right, so back to the program. We're coming up on 20 minutes, so we have about 8 minutes left. I am just so anxious to see how the GoPro is holding up. I'm so anxious to see how the video is coming up. Is it lopsided? Does it sound decent? I really don't know. Only time will tell, and we'll know in about 8 minutes. I'm using the GoPro app on my phone. I'm actually able to do live previews via LTE. At home I use Wi-Fi, of course. And do I need to download a separate app? I'm not really sure. I've been using iMovie for my iPhone, but now maybe I do everything through like a GoPro video editor. We'll see. I'm sure all that stuff will be fun to figure out. Going back to tech stuff, actually, I realized the other day, so I have a desktop computer, a gaming desktop computer, the HP Omen, the 2017 model, which back then was amazing. And frankly, it's still pretty good. Now, I don't use it for gaming. I use it for just logging into work and doing remote work, which is fine. But I recently found out that the wireless adapter I have, it's like an Intel AC3 something, caps me at 433 megabits per second for my internet speed. Now I'm paying for fiber, which in the most ideal situation, which we know we never get, even with an Ethernet cable directly connected, is 1,000 megabits per second. So I figured out I'm essentially being throttled by my hardware. So I called one of those electronic shops near me and I ordered one of the newer models. I think it was the Intel 9260 wireless adapter. It's supposed to get here on Friday or Monday, so I'll see how that comes out. Hopefully it's going to be really cool. I think it goes up to like 1.3, like 1300 megabits per second, so I should be getting better speeds and really taking advantage of that fiber. Because how does it feel? And you know what, I'm wondering if people, like maybe other people don't even know that. Maybe they're paying for fiber and they don't know they're being throttled by their hardware. You have to have the right type of hardware to run fiber. It's like having Wi-Fi 6. Like the new Mac Minis I've been talking about support Wi-Fi 6. But even if I got the Mac Mini, actually, apologies, if I got the Mac Mini, it would work because the Mac Mini already comes with the hardware. So what I'm saying is make sure you check your hardware. And if you have questions about that, I can help you figure that out. Let me know. It was a very simple test to see. I have a Windows, but I'm sure it should not be that difficult to do on a Mac. Check the hardware. You essentially look up the name of the hardware, the device name. You then look up the device name on Google, and Google will give you a spec sheet, and that spec sheet will sort of detail everything that that device has, one of those things being the max speed. So that'd be cool if we find out that a lot of people are being throttled by hardware and not getting that full potential like what they paid for. Internet speed shortchange. 22 minutes of our 28-minute walk. It's been a great one. I'm getting a nice sweat. These walks are getting easier for me, so that's good. It means that we're making progress. Funny story here, a little bit of an interjection. I told you all I got a new sofa recently. I was just laying on my sofa, sitting there, took a picture, and I noticed that my legs actually looked kind of more toned. And I sent the picture to my family. It wasn't an intentional picture of my legs, it was just me lounging, and they said the same. So hey, if you all want toned legs, start a walking routine today. I talked about that earlier this week. That's what I talked about on Monday. 10 reasons to start a walking routine today. Toned muscles are definitely one of them. Highly suggest doing it if that's what you want. I want to wrap up this walk today with a funny story about Cyberpunk 2077. So Cyberpunk 2077 actually came out today, December 10th at 12 a.m. But I wanted to play it so badly yesterday that I found out you can set your location on the Xbox to New Zealand. So at around 7, let's say 7 p.m. I changed my location, and sure enough I was able to play. Now I have an Xbox One S, not the Series S. I have the Xbox One S, and it doesn't run well on it. Now I'm not one to complain, I get it. It's an old console and the game came out this year. I've had that console for a while. I think before I even moved to Fort Lauderdale. Let's say I've had it for about 5 years, so let's say I got it in 2015. I'm running a 2020 game on a 2015 console, so I get it. But it's bad. I really want the Series X, and now I'm looking for one. And it's very hard to get. I think 2 days ago I saw a tweet. It must have been a minute after I saw it that I tried to make the order, and they were out already. So it's very difficult to get a Series X. I probably won't by the end of the year. but I'm very excited to hopefully get one of them soon. And I know that CD Projekt Red is going to be doing their own next-gen update. Right now they do sort of support it. They'll make it a little bit better, but the true next-gen update comes out next year, and I'm excited about that. I don't know if any of you all have seen the new Destiny 2 gameplay running on the Series X, but if it's anything like that, man, what a time to be a gamer. It's such a difference. Like, that alone is worth it. And I know I've spoken about getting the whole entertainment system overhaul, but I want to enjoy Cyberpunk because we've all been waiting for that game for a long time. So, you know, it crashed on me twice yesterday, and rendering sometimes took 20 seconds. I'm talking about buildings with no textures on them at all. So we'll see. I'm trying my hardest to get one, but that was fun. Let me know if you're playing Cyberpunk 2077. Are you playing it on a, I guess, previous generation console or a next gen console? Which I guess now it's current generation since they're already launched. Let me know how you all are playing those consoles. Not the consoles, the game. Very curious to see how you all are enjoying it. I picked the Corpo lifestyle. I figured most people were gonna be a nomad or a street kid. Honestly, that's what I thought I'd be, but then I was like, you know, let me just do this. It feels a little bit different, so that should be cool. Fun times. Hopefully I'll get to play some later today, but we'll see, time willing. All right, guys, well, it's 26 minutes and 22 seconds into the walk right now, and boy, has it been a good one. We talked about a lot of random things today, most important thing being this new way of recording that I'm hoping will prove useful and fun and entertaining for all viewers. Seems like maybe there's a argument going on over there, but save that for another time. It's none of my business. I hope that everyone watching today has had a fun time with me. Again, this is day 3 of week 2 of the Task With Me warm-up series, walking. We've come a long way. We got 5 weeks left, but we'll make it there, and we'll make it there together, and it will be worth it. So happy to continue on for 38 minutes on Saturday. And the cool thing is, on Saturday there's gonna be a little surprise, but I won't sort of give away that information until the video comes out, and you'll all probably realize it once the video is already out. So on Saturday, stick around for a little surprise, a little bit of a different thing going on. Nothing crazy, but just something fun to look forward to. Nearing our 28 minutes. Again, if you want more information, now the most important channel to follow me on is on my Twitter, @TaskWithMe, where I try to put real-time updates as much as I can. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe, like this video, hit that alert notification bell to get more of these updates. Stay fit and stay healthy. See you all next time.